If you ever felt left out or just excluded, watch today's episode.
Real FOMO. Hi, Namita. So I want to share an incident that happened to me in school. I was a fairly popular girl, good friends, teachers like me, like not super popular and nothing like kids are today, of course. We're talking about 10 years ago. But I was in council and we were a group of 3 really close friends in class. And sometimes we would go outside to the market, go for ice cream, but mostly in school, hanging out together, like canteen and like in breaks and stuff like this. And this is the time before social media and phones. So I got to know both of my friends were hanging out together, purposely leaving me out. And whether it was in school or just heading out of school, and it stung. I would go home and cry, not knowing what I'd done wrong. They were still talking with me. It's not like I was being excluded, openly. It was just that I got to know, they're edging me out of this, and that's in school. But fast forward many years later, and something similar happened in college, and it still hurt. So now I even hear from friends who are adults, like 30, 40, and even 50. But the pain is always the same. And, because they're feeling excluded or left out of plans or any type of invites. And, of course, you're old enough to say, well, it doesn't matter because, that's the right thing to say, but it still hurts. I can see the pain.
Yeah, I know. I know what you're talking about. I think everyone has gone. So, Simrit, today one of the words used to explain this is FOMO. Okay. The fear of missing out. And it's becoming harder to deal with because of, surprise, social media. You know,
Yeah,
20 or
yeah.
30 years ago, a pinch of being excluded was painful. But now, not only are you excluded, but you end up seeing what you are excluded from. The pictures, the reels, the minute by minute account of every party, every outfit worn, and every moment is quite difficult when you're already feeling left out and isolated and dealing with the visuals of it. So, I mean, it's really hard. So, Simrit, you and me are, fortunate, I would say, because most of the times we feel relieved that we are not invited to these parties. But
doesn't mean we're
like, oh God, thank God we didn't have to go through that. But,
that was
we are older and we are older and luckily or hopefully wiser. But, it's harder when we are younger. It's very hard to get away with that feeling.
also, I think it has a little bit to do with priorities, and that's what we're going to talk to everybody about today. So Namita and I will be discussing how we can deal with these feelings of exclusion and social isolation. And my rule number 1 is understand yourself. Okay, understand your feelings, sit with your emotions, and think, why am I bothered that these people are like? Are they really close to me? Or do I just want to go to this super wedding or the super party that everybody's being? Am I feeling left out? It's normal to feel upset, anxious, or even angry when you feel like you've been excluded. So understand where these feelings are coming from and why. Are these people important to you? Yes, that hurts. If they're not and you just want to be part of the gang, remind yourself a lot of these feelings of like missing out from something that you believe may be perfect, where people are having a better time, better life, better experiences. It's not probably reality. The experiences you are
Yeah.
and perhaps seeing online might not actually be as perfect as they seem. Also, understand,
Yes.
do you truly want to be part of these events, or do you just want to be invited? And where is
Yeah.
that stemming from? If it's somebody close, we get it, and we have to talk about it. But is it really that? Because chances are, if people are close to you, has there been a fallout? What's going on?
Yeah, very, very important. Important. Understanding yourself is always important. And mature, I would say, because the introspection always helps us prioritize what truly matters to us. And I
Right,
think
priorities.
I think a good rule to get over FOMO is to give the benefit of doubt to the person who we feel excluded from.
Yeah.
As a mother, I've experienced this a number of times, Simran. When my daughter was younger, and even now today, when uh, she was not invited to a birthday party, so it's like it's tough, and and then, she was out and she asked a friend whose birthday party was coming up, and why as wasn't I invited to your birthday party? And she said, my mom was supposed to call your mom to invite you, and that didn't happen. I mean, sure enough, it was true, but and it was sorted also. So it's good that she talked about it, and somehow that thing got sorted. But if someone you are being excluded from is close to you, could it have been a mistake? If not, find out what the problem was. Communication, if the person is close enough, is always great. You know, communication, we always say it's a key. So we should always
Yeah.
communicate. And if they aren't close, why feel so shunned? Forget about it, yaar. Who cares?
And they're not so close. But this
क्या फर्क पड़ता है?
exactly. But this interesting thing is, a couple of years ago, I allowed my son to decide who, and kids is tricky, but so easy to get over, right? So a couple of years ago, I allowed my son to decide who he wanted at his birthday party and who not. But I think this child that we knew for the last, like, whatever, since they started school, wasn't invited. And I think I told my son that, why haven't you invited him? And he's like, no, I don't want to. We're not friends. And my husband and me had a little discussion, and he was of the opinion, no, you should. And I'm like, no, you have to let him do. He was 11 or something, 10 or 11. So, okay. And sure enough, later I got to know, a couple months down the road, or 1 month or 1.5 months, that the mother was quite upset. And they're friends, like, acquaintance, good friends in the circle and stuff. And so I was like, oh no, I feel so bad. And then I got to know that the boy had cried a lot, and I felt, oh, I've done something terrible, because it wasn't my meaning. I was just trying to give my son some independence and let him. And then I called the mother, and that didn't go very well, because I don't think she really understood where I was coming from. And I said, you know what? I apologize, because this is on me. I mean, we were so close. And if the child said, I wish you'd call me, and she's like, no, I can't call you and say my son's not invited. I'm like, why? We could do that technically. And then
Yeah.
patched up, but it's much easier when we talk. And I truly, I picked up the phone, and I apologize, but it sounds simple enough, but matters of emotions and heart are not so easy, right? Like, especially when we get emotional. I think an important rule is, go out and make connections with like-minded people. So when you're
Yeah.
feeling out, call on those close connections. Could be one of your best friends who we haven't been in touch for a while, or someone who you feel close to, but you're not hanging out as much. Call them, go for a coffee, make a plan, go for dinner, go for a girls' night out, go drinking, go dancing, do whatever you are, but with people who you're close to. When you're with your close friends who you feel deep connections with, you will not feel excluded socially from others. It's just a fact.
Yeah. No, I agree. I totally agree, Simrat. Make connections and relationships that matter to you. And my point to deal
Yes.
with this social inclusion and the feeling of being left out is to have more fulfilling habits. Do things
Yes.
in your daily life which creates more satisfaction, that we always say, right? And these habits include being grateful, understand the gratitude, and be aware of how lucky you are. Take pleasure in social work, help the lesser fortunate ones. Get involved with larger community around you, and be more involved with your close family and neighbors. And
Absolutely.
always learn to feed your inner voice with positive reinforcement. Celebrate your achievements. When these practices becomes your habit, the feeling of FOMO truly do disappear.
I
I
agree.
guarantee
Being
that.
so involved in such
Yeah.
one, Namita, that should be rule number one. So I truly do believe that creating a more fulfilling life, you won't have time to really indulge in, like, who's inviting me where, even your closest friends. So many times Namita and me are known as connectors. We connect people and say, no, 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 make your plan yourself. We have other things going on, because there's
Absolutely.
very rarely, we
Yeah.
all feel it. This is very rare in life that I feel FOMO from, random invites, or when I see things. And this sounds like a broken record, but please, please, please do get off social media when you feel excluded, lonely, overwhelmed.
Uh,
You do not need to see others and think and imagine that they have better lives than you, because these are pictures, they are Photoshop. These photos before
not.
social media go through hours of making yourself look perfect and your lipstick right. And I've seen people do it.
Yeah.
The real
Yeah,
world.
yeah, absolutely, Simrit. Absolutely. And you will not believe, Simrit, that I remember, I just mentioning one quick incident before we go further. That, I went for a party, And I saw the pictures of, and it was such a boring, disgusting party. And later on, my friend posted those pictures. Look, oh my God, those pictures were stunning. It looked like what a party it was, and it was like big show. Like, oh my God, this is a real experience of how unrealistic these pictures could be, these videos could be. So, and now I think everybody knows mostly that these are just being artificially created. That moment is being created, and then there's just it's just gone. Not this really didn't happen. So very well said, Simran, that you get away from social media.
So
It just,
it won't give you pleasure when you're feeling excluded, for sure. So
yes.
to recap and our takeaway, feelings of social exclusion and feeling upset because of that is normal human response. But we can deal with it by getting more involved with your community, give others the benefit of doubt by having confidence in yourself. Why wouldn't anybody want to party? That's my thought process. I'm the and introspect on what's really bothering you. And what do you think is missing? Fix that.
Absolutely. Well, that's all on Talk to Us today. Hope you enjoyed our show today. And if you have more tips to how to deal with FOMO, please do share with us. We always look forward to hearing from you all. And if there's anything that you guys like about our show, do mention in the comment section, or you can email us at hello@talktoustoday.com and let your friends know where to find us.
And please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to stay notified of our new videos every Friday at 6 p.m. Thanks for joining us on Talk to Us Today. Remember to talk about Talk to Us Today. Keep smiling.
Yeah. Keep laughing.
See you guys next Friday. Bye.